welcome back to the Pot's Perspective. I'm Samantha, and today I'm sharing a two-part episode about my 21st birthday trip to Puerto Rico. This trip was really special to me, but it also came with some challenges with my pots that I didn't fully expect. So I want to talk to you and walk you through everything: the preparation, the travel day, the flight, and how the beginning of the trip went. And along the way, I'll also share a few things I did right and a few things I definitely learned from. So, let's get into it. The day before my trip, I focused a lot on preparing my body because I knew travel can be really unpredictable with POTS, so I made sure I was drinking a lot of electrolytes, element, and I tried to stay ahead on my hydration instead of, catching up on it later. And one thing I always try to do before traveling is not wait until I feel dehydrated. I start early the day before because once symptoms start, it's harder to reverse them. So I also packed really intentionally. I made a full snack box with my salty snacks. I charged everything, packed my compression gear, my medications, my doctor's notes. Then I made sure that I had everything in my carry-on so I didn't risk losing it. The next morning, I slept in a little since I didn't have school, and then I finished my last minute packing, and after that, we headed to the airport. And the airport was where things started to get a little tricky. So our terminal didn't have air conditioning, and even though I was prepared, the heat really started to get to me. I was wearing sweatpants, but the thin flowy sweatpants, and then a tank top, and then I had this knitted sweater because airplanes are usually cold and I needed to obviously stay warm, but in that moment I was overheating super fast. And one thing I learned with POTS is that heat is a huge trigger for me. So when I feel that it's happening, I try to act early instead of waiting until I feel faint. I started drinking water with electrolytes, I bought myself a Gatorade, and I made sure I was eating something with salt, so I got myself popcorn. I also bought fans to keep myself cool, and then the cooling patches that I've mentioned before, which honestly helped a lot at first. But then our flight got delayed, and then my fan died. And I forgot the charger for it. The one thing that I forgot. So, I had to adjust again. So, instead of me sitting still, I was like, I need to walk around the airport. And this actually was something that I recommend, is gentle movement, because it can help with the blood circulation when you're standing for long periods or sitting. And it's not about exercise, it's just about preventing the blood pooling feeling. And so I walked between terminals, I looked at shops, and honestly, it helped me reset a little bit. And by the time boarding started, I felt more stable, which I was really grateful for. I also bought myself a pizza and ate it before getting on the flight, and I shared it with my sibling, which also really helped. And before the flight, I was definitely a little nervous because I hadn't flown in a while, and I also had my period, which can sometimes make symptoms worse for me. So I made sure I was extra prepared. I took my medication, I set up my water and electrolytes on both sides of me. I kept my snacks within reach so I didn't have to stand up unnecessarily during the flight. One thing I always do now is prepare everything before I feel sick, not after. That includes water, placement, snacks, medications, and anything I might need within arm's reach. The flight was about 4 hours, so I put on my AirPods, played something calming, and focused on slow breathing. And then once I felt okay, I put on a movie. And that is something I use a lot during travel, just slowing my breathing down so my body doesn't spiral. I really did this for when we were getting up into the air because I started to feel a little dizzy. So I did the slow breathing, but then once we were in the air, I was able to relax and watch a movie. I drank electrolytes, I ate small snacks like plantain chips, and I had a sandwich. I tried to eat slowly and consistently instead of all at once because big meals can make me feel worse. And honestly, once we were in the air, I was okay. Better than I expected. It wasn't a perfect flight, but it was manageable. And I felt proud of how much preparation helped me get through it. So, that was the travel day and the beginning of my trip. Looking back, I think preparation really made a huge difference here, especially hydration, electrolytes, and planning ahead for heat and delays. In part 2, I'll talk about the rest of the trip, the beaches, daily routine, and what eventually led to my POTS flower. And I'll also share what I learned the hard way during that part of my trip. So, thank you for listening to part 1 of the POTS perspective, and I'll see you in part 2.